Welcome to the Business of Pleasure, where we're putting the fun and funds and the sexy in success. Brought to you by Bedroom Kandi Boutique Parties, this podcast is your one-stop shop for empowering education, earning potential, and unforgettable wow moments. I am your host, your sexologist, Bestie Cash, and I invite you to join us as we dive into the sophisticated discussions about pleasure, self-care, and everything in between. Yes, baby, the bathroom, the bedroom, and beyond. Enjoy a diverse range of guests guaranteed to inspire and delight. Get ready to elevate your mindset, boost your confidence, and embrace the pleasure revolution with us. Now, I have to give you guys a little context about Bedroom Kandi. Bedroom Kandi was founded in 2011 by award-winning singer-songwriter who happens to be sitting right beside me, Real Housewives personality and entrepreneur Kandi Burruss. Can we clap it up real quick? In conjunction with her partners, intimate toy developers Brian and Suki Dunham. At the time, the line launched with only 5 products, and now it features, we got like hundreds of products over here now. So we're talking everything from toys to bath and body, cosmetics. We literally have something for everyone over here. Now, in 2012, the home party side of the business hit the scene. So now that we're incorporating this mission to empower people both sexually and financially. Since then, Bedroom Kandi Boutique Parties has grown, selling over 10,000 starter kits and working with consultants across the country to spread education, empowerment, and self-love in the communities. As we continue to grow and expand into not just an intimate toy line, but an entire lifestyle company, we are dedicated to elevating others, improving relationships, and fostering successful careers. So whether you're looking to pamper yourself or change your life, Bedroom Kandi has you covered. Now, I'm excited, guys. We're going to be doing this in a couple of segments designed to help you guys understand our mission, which is to empower, educate, and earn. And our empowerment segment is called Pioneers of Pleasure. Okay, so we cannot kick this off without starting with the pioneer of pleasure here at Bedroom Kandi, and that is none other than Kandi Burruss. And I want to first start, because this conversation is really about giving you your flowers.
Oh, okay.
Yes. And we got some interesting flowers to give you today, actually, right? But I wanted to first take a moment, right? Because I wouldn't be even sitting in this seat if it wasn't for you, okay?
Why did you say that?
So I know that when I transitioned into entrepreneurship, I tried different companies, different brands, and it really didn't take off like it did until I got to Bedroom Kandi, right? Okay. So when you created this brand, you could have just kept it for you. Sold it online, left it at that. But you opening it up is actually like, it led to so many different things. I literally came in as a consultant, and I was like, if there's one thing I could do with this New York hustle, is I could get these vibes out there. But what I didn't really anticipate was that through BK, I was gonna end up getting introduced to Dr. Rachel's Institute, where I got my clinical certification as a sexologist. And then that started the next part of it. So like, it just kept growing and growing and growing. I think in my first year at Bedroom Kandi, I became the top seller, and I was big. Yes. And I never cared about that nowhere else. But when I got over here, it was just a very different vibe. Like, we are a whole vibe.
We definitely are.
We are a whole vibe at
For
Bedroom
sure.
Kandi. Y'all will see clips from our conventions and cruises. Y'all will see just how we get down. But I have to first thank you for creating that opportunity to not just be bossing up yourself, but to create lanes where other people could find opportunities to make their own lanes through a brand that you created. So thank you, first and foremost. And in order to really thank you, I got a little gift. I got a little something for
Oh, we got gifts.
So, we had one of our BKVCs. Her name is Sylvia Davis out of Atlanta, Georgia. Custom designed this because we know that you're on a tour right now, right?
Yes,
Queen.
yes.
We know that you're a queen of R&B, but you are also the queen of pleasure.
The queen of pleasure. I actually truly love this. I know people are gonna stop me on the street to be like, now what does that mean?
What does that mean? I mean, I think when we have this conversation about being pioneers of pleasure, and you said this actually on the Real Housewives episode with the Peach Social.
Yes.
Right? Starting an intimacy brand when Bedroom Kandi started, like that was when talking about sex was just like.
That was when everything was still taboo. And it's so funny to me now because I see so many like podcasts that talk about sex openly and relationships openly, but they weren't doing it like that
at all.
Back in 2010 to 2011 when we first started the brand. People were not doing that. It still was looked at as very much like, I cannot believe you said that, you know, online, especially being black. And doing it
now that's a whole nother thing. And I think what you did with BK, now obviously Bedroom Kandi is a community open to everybody. But naturally, having a woman who is also a black woman starting the brand, we naturally attracted a lot of more black women. Yeah. And so now we have hundreds and thousands of people who are selling the products, who are sex educators as a result of it, talking about sex, going in people's households, talking about sex. Mm-hmm. But now we're doing it like social media, vendor events, all kind of stuff. So one of the things I wanted to ask you, because like you said, it was unheard of. Mm-hmm. So why in the hell did Kandi think I want to create a brand within the realm of pleasure?
Okay. Okay, that's a good question. Well, first of all, I was always that friend. Like that, always that homegirl where we could sit around and talk about anything. Or like, I used to have this group of friends, we used to call ourselves the movie club. We used to get together every single Friday, catch a new movie, and then catch up on all the week's events of who you went out with, who you dated, who you met, you know, what went down, you know,
right,
all that.
The details.
And I was always that friend that had the information of, girl, you should try this, you should do that, da, 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 you know. So that, you know, I am that friend. But during the time, I guess during 2010, 2011, I get so confused with dates. Yeah, like I always forget, and you remind me when you go.
You said the dates. Yeah. That's when it started.
So before Bedroom Kandi, I was doing Candy Coated Nights online.
Yes,
and that was so random. I was just being silly online, talking with my friends. At that time, they used to have Ustream, or it wasn't.
I remember that.
Yeah, so we got on there and we was just, you know, I was telling people to call in with their best sex stories. Yeah, and from that, it just became like a weekly routine because people would be hitting me on Twitter. When's the next time you're gonna go online? So, one thing I know is that being consistent is how you
kind of grow
anything, or you know, how you build a community, you know. And so I just made it every single Wednesday night, Hump Day Wednesday, Hump Day,
right? Hump Day, and now we have Hump Day sales, everything every week. Look how that transferred over.
Yes,
every day is Hump Day.
Every week. Okay, so I was like, Hump Day Wednesday, we're gonna do this every week. So anyway, in the midst of that, I was like, okay, so it's building a following. Mm-hmm. How do I, because nobody was paying me for a podcast at that time, that podcast
was just kind of like a hobby. Yeah.
So I was like, okay, well, what is something or a product that I can have that could go along with this podcast? And a friend of mine, she was like, or one of the people that we were on the podcast with.
Okay.
Yeah, she was like, you should do a sex toy line. And I was like, that would be kind of dope.
Shout out to that friend. You are responsible for so many orgasms.
Yeah. She was like, you know, and I was like, that would be kind of dope. And we just discussed the fact that there weren't many people who weren't known as, you know, people in the sex industry who had adult toy lines.
Yeah, I think at that time,
Dr. Laura Behrman was the only person that I knew.
Yeah. And it wasn't online or anything like that either. You had to go into like a sex shop that was.
Exactly. So it wasn't really many people. And I was, it was just kind of that question of like, okay, if I do this, would people
buy into?
Look at me like I'm crazy or whatever?
How did your family respond? Did they?
My mom was with it. She was like, "Oh, that's a great idea." But mind you, I'm from Atlanta, where strip clubs are popular. You know, like it's part of the scene. It's not a big deal.
Vibe.
Like this is something I never tell people. When I was a teenager and after our group first came out with our, album.
What's your album?
I remember one of the ladies that worked for the label. She said, "So, Kandi, what would you like to do with?" your money when you said, I was like, oh, I would love to own a strip club. I was 17 and I said that.
We're going to speak that into existence because there's still time.
She was like, because she wasn't from Atlanta. She was like, okay.
That's an interesting choice.
Yeah, she was like, well, why would you want to do that? But after she came to Atlanta, started hanging with, the artists and stuff, she got it.
The vibe.
But, being a person who came up in that culture, it's not that big of a deal.
It's not, and I think places like Atlanta, even Miami, New York, certain places you are accustomed to more of that like party out club going life. So that makes sense.
Yeah, it's not big of a deal.
Yeah.
So anyway, with that being said, me and my homegirl, we talked about it, and I believe whatever the reunion for Housewives that year was it. Maybe the first reunion I was on, or maybe
because
the second.
I think. Well, yeah, because you came season 2. So that would have been the first.
Yeah,
Well, your first reunion.
Well, actually, it was their first. They didn't do a reunion. I don't think on their first season. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so Andy asked me, like something that I wanted to do, and I was like, I want to start my own adult toy line. Oh. But after I said it, I was like, okay, now I got to make it happen. Because I'm not a person who just puts things out there in the world and don't actually see it through. Like I hate, that's like a thing that annoys me. I hate one of those, I would love to, I wish I coulda, woulda, shoulda, coulda person. I hate that. It drives me insane. Every time you see them, they talk about something else they want to do and they never do it.
Yeah.
It's like, I did not want to be that girl, especially not to the world who's watching me.
Right.
So I put that out there. Let me figure it out.
I think that statement in its own is a real strong statement for anybody who's looking to do anything, especially nowadays. Like a lot of people trying to get into content creation, all kind of stuff. But you said 2 things. 1, consistency.
Yes.
2, put some action behind it. Don't be one of them people who just out there running their mouth. So that makes sense.
Action is everything.
So, as we were talking about a conversation on your partnership, your collaboration with your co-founder and partners, Brian and Suki Dunham, of course, guys, we had to bring to the table none other than the master of vibrations at Bedroom Kandi, Suki Dunham.
Suki, guys.
Welcome, Suki. Thank you for taking time to sit down with us and have this conversation, because we were talking about all the toys and I was like, I feel like I'm cheating on her talking about all this stuff that you created without you sitting here. But again, the spirit of this conversation is in giving flowers. So we gave Kandi a little something. And of course, we weren't going to leave you out because you also are a queen of pleasure here at Bedroom Kandi. And we put a little something on the bottom of each of you guys' shirt. And yours also says Master of Vibrations. And I know that sounds crazy, but it's because Suki literally is the person who pioneers tech, right? And not just tech. Let me just say, not limited to, but if you use one of our toys and you enjoyed it, you owe this woman a huge thank you. Let's just say that. So Suki, I wanted to ask if really quick, you could give us a crash course on your background in not just the technology and converting over into designing all of these amazing products that you have, and even just selecting, knowing how do you spot the quality, all those types of things. Can you tell us a little bit on how you guarantee quality at Bedroom Kandi?
Sure. So, I mean, the one thing that I will say is I came from the tech industry, actually not the adult industry, so to speak. And during that time, I was lucky enough to work at Apple in Cupertino for almost a decade.
Wow.
8 years. And in that time that I was there, I was part of worldwide product marketing. So it was all about products. And I learned a whole lot. And so when the time came that Brian and I were going to build and make our first product, our first vibrator, all of those little things that I learned at Apple came into play. And I was there at a time when Jobs was there, and anybody that knows that man or anything about him knows he was a perfectionist. And so I just learned a lot about details, product details, I think is really what it's about. And the customer experience, at that time. I think he might have been the first person to talk about the open box experience. What's it like when you bring home that headset or that computer and you open it up for the first time? How do you feel about it?
Right.
And nobody really, or very few companies at that time had paid that level of attention and detail to toys.
No, that's the fact. I mean, if you guys look at this one really quick, you can see in the packaging that there is no shortage on making sure that the quality of, like you said, before you even get to your product, it's like very sexy.
Right. That's something that we discussed a lot when we first started working together. Just the quality of the packaging. What does it look like when you get it? Because, I mean, realistically, you could sell the product just the way it looks from the outside of the box. Or you can really not sell it from the way it looks on the outside of the box.
Right.
If it looks like a piece of junk, then people are going to treat it like a piece of junk. But if it looks like, oh, what is this? This is, it makes people receive it differently.
It does.
I remember, Candy, you looking at the kind of original kind of design concept presentation, and there was a lot of kind of like a Chanel feel to it is the only way I can describe it. And you were like,
or better yet,
you were
Lux
really liking that.
feel.
So
I think Lux.
Well, Lux was one of the words that we used to design to describe our products. Because you got to think, like I said, when we first started our products, it was not like the norm for what I would say, like, people did not look at a woman who was your wife, your mom, to be the person that's the face of an adult toy.
Right.
Right. So it had to be something that represented me. And I feel like I represent a lot of everyday women who, we're business women, we're moms, we're wives,
all the hats.
Yeah. And you want to feel like you don't have to hide. What you remember back in the day when you go to the adult store, you gotta hide it, put it in the paper bag. You don't want to.
And it's not just me, but all the adult stores, for them to be selling what they sell, they were the most illuminated places on the block. Like,
right? Why was that?
Welcome back to the Business of Pleasure podcast. And this episode, titled For Yourself But Not By Yourself, is featuring some of our Bedroom Kandi top performers. So we want to take a moment to really focus on highlight and celebrating the success of our serial. We're not just talking about top performers, serial top performers. They just can't stay off the top, okay? They are leading the fields in pleasure pioneering. And so here at the Business of Pleasure, we are out here putting the fun and funds and the sexy in success. This podcast is brought to you by Bedroom Kandi by Kandi Burruss. And this is your one-stop shop for empowering education, earning potential, and unforgettable wow moments, okay? I'm your host, your sexologist bestie, and BK Master Trainer, Kasha Johnson, and I invite you to join us as we're gonna dive into some real sophisticated discussions about pleasure, self-care, and everything in between. We talk in bathroom, bedroom, and beyond.
Right.
Now, speaking of our range of diverse guests, okay, I have the pleasure, okay, of bringing two of our company's biggest pioneers and really, really promoting that collaboration. I know we were speaking about coming together. Yeah. And you two are literally cultivators of that for this company. So I would love for you guys to welcome Freda Hobbs and LaRonda White. Now, before we kind of kick into gear, I would love if each of you could take a quick minute to kind of just share a little bit about yourself. And we know that as top team leaders in this company for several years, the other beauty in it is that you guys are also a part of the same team lineage, right? And so it shows that you're not going by yourself, right? And that's what we're talking about in this episode. You might get into the business by yourself, but I think we can see that you're literally not alone. So can you guys tell us a little bit about why you decided to join Bedroom Kandi Boutique Parties in the first place?
I literally joined Bedroom Kandi because I got a toy that I loved. I purchased a toy that I loved, and my husband and I both said, "This is nice. This is
really?
Yes, rise and shine." It was replacing another toy that had broken, and I said I was self-employed at the time, as I still am. So we got Rise and Shine to replace another toy that had broken, and I was self-employed at the time, and I thought, it's always smart to have an extra stream of income. And, you know, my husband's very churchy. So I said, would you be okay? Because he sings in the choir and everything. And I said, would you be okay if I sold this? And he said, I like money. I like sex. We married. Like, do what you got to do.
Right.
And I had no desire to have a team. I did not know that this is what it was going to become. And I was going to be here 11 years later with the most accomplished team in the company.
Yeah, give it up, give it up. Yes. And you know, I have to give it up to you. I have to give you your flowers as well, because a lot of people might not know, Freda was actually one of my upline leaders as a consultant.
Really?
Yeah, when I came in, you know, we have tiers. So you get sponsored by someone, but then that person has a sponsor and that person has a sponsor. So no one doesn't just like kind of, oh, that's not my immediate recruit. If you in that team, you're going to get nurtured by the whole team. And so Freda was actually the one of my upline leaders who I spent many, many times on the phone bugging with my entrepreneurial thoughts. And one thing I can always say about Freda is, despite how big of a team you have and how many people you're mentoring, you always make time. You make yourself available to your people.
I do.
And so what I kind of want to speak to that is, obviously, in making time for growing people, because you've played a huge role in my success, but also turning over to you, LaRonda, who Freda is your direct sponsor. So for those who don't, like we said, when you join the business, you're either assigned to someone if you don't have a person, or you can directly meet a person and choose to join their direct lineage, right? So LaRonda,
and they basically mentor the people that they bring on or that we assign to them.
Correct.
And that's one thing that makes it so great to be a part of Bedroom Kandi, is that you don't come in alone. You always feel like you have somebody rooting for you, or you have a teammate that is, you know, helping you to be successful.
Absolutely. And very quickly, when I started, one of my leaders, and you used to always be having a little funny competitive stuff in there. I was like, what is going on here? What are they doing? But then it was actually nice to see women who were competing technically for certain recognition titles, but using that competition to motivate each other, right? So it wasn't ever on some serious. It was always playful, like, oh, I'm coming for your tail, or whatever the case is. And at that time, there was another team who was the number one team. And then I watched both of you guys literally rise to the top. Together. Right? So, LaRonda, what has it meant for you having a leader to support and mentor you while you're also growing your own?
Well, I was an auto-assigned.
Interesting.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
So when I came to Bedroom Kandi, I was auto-assigned. My leader was in Florida, and she left the business probably like a year and a half in. I met Freda, I think at the first convention, because I don't think we met prior to that. But we went to the Diamond Dinner. And I'm an introvert. I was very nervous. I only came with a team member who did not make it to the Diamond Dinner. And it took me forever to get there. My dress wasn't right. And when I went into the room, she welcomed me to sit at the table with her. So it was her, Joy, and your friend?
I don't even remember who else.
Yeah,
My
it
sister
was
might have been.
like
I don't
3
know.
people that they were with. And so they welcomed me to sit at the table, and we have been inseparable ever since.
Oh, wow.
That was prior to Facebook with Bedroom Kandi. And So we just talked for the longest. And so when my leader left, because she was a beta, I could just stay by myself. And I was like, everybody needs somebody. We were already friends. We were already talking and training and stuff. So I was like, can I join your team? And I was like, I'm going to go to Freda. Like, it was a no-brainer that I was going to go to her team. And so that's how that's how I got to her team.
I never knew that.
I did not realize that either. I don't know why.
I always thought you was always in her. So you chose, and that right there, LaRonda, is so amazing for so many reasons, because there's a lot of people who put a lot of ego, into it or whatever the case is, and don't feel like, the pride of joining someone else saying, I need help and I want you to mentor me or whatever the case is. So that is awesome. That is awesome. And I know that there's a lot of people who are grateful for that decision today. So in the spirit of that, you guys didn't just rise to the top as leaders. You guys rose to the top as a significant kind of leader at Bedroom Kandi. And so, Kandi, I know you had a question, because you definitely always get into the bag. And when I want to...
Okay, so, you have consistently been at the top, Freda. And with that being said, what equips someone to be a great leader?
That's a tough question, because I honestly, and the team makes fun of me when I say this, I honestly do not think I'm anybody special. I know, it sounds crazy. I just think that I'm somebody, and I get this inspiration from you. I'm somebody who collaborates well.
Yes.
So somebody who is willing to lead, but also willing to follow. I know that I have weaknesses, and LaRonda does a really great job of filling in the gaps of where my skill set is not as tight. We like to say we meet in the middle. She's very skeptical. I'm very open-minded. I see the best in everybody. And she's like, no, that's not going to happen. Are we going to do that today? Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't know we were going to do that today.
Apparently. She said she had her drinks at the bar. It's coming. She's ready.
But my husband actually says, he's like, I can tell when you're talking to LaRonda, because it sounds like y'all are drug dealers. He says, y'all sound like y'all talking about, well, who's moving weight? What's these numbers looking like? Who's selling what? And I think to grow $1 million team, the thing that's different about direct sales is that a lot of people come in with corporate experience and they expect it to be the same way. And it's not, because everybody is their own entrepreneur. And so the numbers are different. You have to remember that it is a numbers game, but it is a people business. So you cannot treat people like they're just a number, but at the same time, you got to analyze the numbers and see, well, how many people do I need to meet this goal? What does it look like for us to meet this? And so being able to get everybody on the same page, but not take it personally when somebody is not is interested in this goal as you think they should be. Because in corporate America, if you don't go to training, if you don't hit your metrics, you get fired.
Right.
You don't do that when you're an entrepreneur. I can't fire you because you're not pushing weight, not moving flowers, not moving flowers. And so, pedal pushers, right.
Oh, y'all gonna be but that sounds good, a pedal pusher. I like that.
Pedal pusher. And so being able to not take that personally, and I always go back to, at the end of the day, we sell toys. I'm not going to be stressed out. Like we sell toys for a living. It's not supposed to be stressful. And so LaRonda, our team is great. We have a lot of people who I share that mindset with, but LaRonda in particular has become somebody that I can really, really have those conversations with, have a good time. We're excited about being on this cruise, but also can be like, okay, what are we going to do? What are these numbers looking like? And I think the thing, direct sales gets a bad rap. People do not understand how business-minded we are. When I talk about having trainings, people are like, you teaching people how to use a vibrator? I mean, that's the level of, that's the easy part. Yes. No, I'm over here running Excel spreadsheets and, teaching Chat GPT workshops.
And helping people understand how to calculate their checks.
Talking about growth and revenue. And, people don't get that. But I figure I can work for myself. I can help somebody else get to the bag, or I can help lots of other like-minded women get to the bag. And when I have a team member who has a breakthrough just about what they can achieve, even if what they're achieving is I just need $300 extra a month to pay my kids football. That is huge.
It
That
is.
is huge. So if I can stay focused on that and I can help somebody hit that goal, it's life changing. That's what feeds me.
Right.
That makes a lot of sense. And like something you said that I think was that I would love to surface to the top is that people don't get to determine what success looks like for a person. It could be just $300 extra
Right.
to pay for that soccer team or football practice or whatever. That could potentially help someone put their child in a position to have a way different
Right.
future. So I love that you share that because I think everybody thinks that it has to be that you out here pushing out thousands or
Right.
And, you know, some people got real good jobs and they just like, but I just need some extra.
I need
Yeah,
some
that's,
extra.
That's really cool.
And you don't know that unless you've been broke. If you've been broke, you know that little extra is life changing. It allows you to take a breath. And it's worth it.
Yeah.
So now turning over to Ms. LaRonda.
Yes. So LaRonda, how did it help you or affect your life to having a leader like LaRonda help empower you? And, you know, how did that affect your leadership?
So I like to say that I'm a protege of Freda. I always say that. But I am the type of person I learn by doing and seeing. And I can remember Freda being number 2 in sales, I think, at convention. Might have been 2015, 2016. And I don't think I was on her team at the time, but we were friends. And she had done it like 2 years in a row. And when I came to Bedroom Kandi, I had been in direct sales for years. I had previously been with a company for 9 years, but never involved or doing parties or anything. I was a hobby consultant, I guess you would say. So I know, you know, so I know about it. So I think when I came to Bedroom Kandi, I was kind of in between of I needed to work for me, but not really understanding the business. And I was celibate. I didn't use toys. So I wasn't like looking for a toy or anything like that, but I knew sex sales. So I had other parties and knew that women like these products. Like I always had 30 women, all ages, crazy about these products. So I came here for that. So watching Freda at convention, which is very important because it paints the picture. And she said, this is fun, but I want to do this with my team. And it's just her heart, like her heart as a leader. Like she said, we're the same, but we are very different, right? And I like helping people. So like for me, when I started this business, I had my first team member in a week. I didn't know I was sharing the opportunity at the time. I just knew when I started, the demand for my area, I'm in South Carolina, I had like 14 party leads in my first 2 weeks. So my leader at the time was like, it's because like there's nobody for 2 hours. So for me, I'm like, well, shoot, I can't work 52 weeks in a year. I need somebody to help me get this money. So like I was sharing with my friends, coworkers, and that's how I got my first team members, not knowing, I didn't even understand the compensation plan. So I am the person when people come in and they don't know. Like I was going into my launch party, which was my second party, when my leader said, "You're about to level up." And I'm like, "Oh, what does that mean?" All I knew is I paid $4.99 for that kit. I needed to get that money back because I was a single parent. Right. And I had my first party. It was a success. So I'm like, okay, I'm going into this next party, but like knowing I'm gonna level up and get more commission. So I didn't necessarily come here for money. I just came here for something different than what I was doing before, and didn't know that when I got here, like this community, the people that I would rub shoulders with would be people that would change my life. So like Freda, like Kasha already said, she sits down with you and listen to what you want, what you need, and she helps you achieve that. Like it's never about like competition. It's never about like, okay. And she says it all the time and I tell her to stop. She's like, "Oh, you can make more money than me. That just makes my check bigger." I'm like, Freda, it's not about your check being bigger, But so just learning the business. So like after convention, we've always, and I think even before we were on the same team, we would sit down. Okay, this is what we did this year. This is what we achieved. Okay, what's the goals for next year? So we would leave Atlanta knowing what the goals for next year. And she's pushing you to do that. So I think it was like a year or so, something happened and I was going to call her. I didn't even have her telephone number. We were doing all of this, like, I guess through Messenger.
Yeah,
we still confused about how it happened.
How it was going down.
Right.
It was just happening.
It was just happening. And so, I mean, she just truly wants people to win. So I always tell people in this community, it's truly a community where people root for you, want you to win, and they, they're really rooting for your success. It's not like a crabs in a bucket type of thing. Whereas, people have the myth, Black women can't get along, but like Bedroom Kandi, it debunks that myth.
Right.
It really does.
Yeah.
Right.
We have a good time.
We do.
And you know what else it is that people really need to hone in on that you just said, right? One, like Rita said, we having a good time. We're not here to be stressed out doing this, but at the same time, I personally, and I don't know if anyone else could relate to this, our consultants, I have never been a place as a Black woman where I had as many Black women cheering me on. Like normally, corporate America, they really make you kind of fight each other to get, like, I need that promotion, I need that. So you come into this place and at first you're like, what is this? Like you're almost surprised by the culture.
Well, let me just say that hearing things like that and seeing, the teams and how people motivate each other over the years, that is what like feeds me. You know what I mean? That's what excites me every time I know. I'm like, okay, this was like a small idea that has become way bigger than me. And it's just kind of like crazy when I think about it sometimes.
The impact and I think what we all kind of share in this conversation is we all want to win, but we also want to take others with you. They say it's lonely at the top,
It is.
right? But not over here, because literally at the top, you could be at the top with your bestie.
Right.
I mean, she's right. I literally.
What you got on that shirt?
Oh, the Queens of Pleasure.
Yes. Oh, so you were at the Queens of R&B tour.
Yes.
Yeah, love that. A lot of the consultants, again,
we incorporate Bedroom Kandi in everything that I do. So, no matter what concert it is, we always have had consultants that represent Bedroom Kandi in the lobbies. They're telling people about the opportunity to join and learning more about it.
Yes.
So, go ahead, girl.
Now, another one of our serial top performers, because this is how many years you'll be on the CAC now? 3?
This is the third one. Yes.
Third year. So just so you guys know, at Bedroom Kandi, we have a council known as the Consultant Advisory Council. And this group is comprised of our annual top performers. So you have to be the best of the best to get up there. And we also create room for some of our newer consultants who skyrocket really quick to join as well.
Right.
And so LaToya is now coming back for another year as a leader on our council. And, without giving her too much information, because we haven't had a chance for her to be celebrated yet. But what I can tell you is this girl is selling, okay? This girl is selling. And when I first met you, I always thought she looked so shy or whatever. Got that little innocent touch. Then I realized she really wasn't that innocent, okay? I have had the pleasure of working with you, and you have been one of our leaders who's trained the community. You've jumped on our corporate stage when we do our virtual events. Again, you're out there representing the brand at the concerts. And one thing listen. So can you just give us a quick brief, take a minute.
Give us a demonstration of how you are able to sell so much product.
First of all, let me explain something to you. I've been using toys for a long time, okay? On my 18th birthday, I bought all my best friends vibrators. I'm like, everybody needs a vibrator.
I should be your friend. She was the one that was coming with
telling you. I'm like, this is what it is. It's always something close in the bed to reach over and grab. It's mystery. What we picking today? But seriously, it's like, first of all, this is Tidal Wave. So this is from the newest Splash collection, right? But the wonderful thing about this baby is it's got those extra motors in there. So when you turn it on, that top button is going to start those pearls to activate, right?
We know we love a pearl.
Pearls is going to go back and forth on that G-spot. You get what I'm saying?
Can we get a close on that?
You can control the intensity of those pearls going back and forth.
Can you see the pearls? They can see the pearls.
Oh my God. So it goes right inside. And then you see it's ridged right here, right? So when you hit that bottom button, you hit that bottom button, this little buzzer right there for the doorbell, that starts to activate, right?
Did you say buzzer for the doorbell?
And so now that's activated. So now it's in and it's got everything is going. The action is going, right? But these ridges is getting the inside tingling too, and you still got the pearls going back and forth. OMG. MG, I was so excited when Suki gave me this last year at convention. I told her, I was like, I'm going straight to my room and I'm going to try it right now.
Yeah, she did.
And I did.
She did. She
I
came
did.
back to the chat and she had 3 different positions of how you could put it in all.
I was like, you got to put a towel down. You got to put a towel down with both of them, okay? Ripple and tidal wave. I was like, you got to put a towel down because, baby.
That one going to make them splash.
Ooh, wee. I couldn't wait to get up to my room. Like, I wanted to mingle with everybody, but I was like, I gotta go. I got things to do. It's one of the best things of the job, right? Product testing.
Master beta tester.
Right, because there's a lot of companies that do product testing, but not all of them involve actually. Well, let me go see what this thing could do. It was so funny because I said to Suki one time, I said, I think the greatest thing about my work is that I actually get to give you reviews about my last orgasm. And it's actually professional. Right. So first of all, with your excitement behind it, we know she done ran that test around the block. So yes, that is one of our splash collection. But I want to ask you one other question that might not just help our consultants, but also anybody who might be thinking about it. Were you always a seller? Were you always somebody who was confident in this? Or like what do you think were the keys to becoming one of our top sellers in the company?
Right.
No, I was not a seller. I wouldn't have thought I could have sold anybody a thing, honestly. But I am a Capricorn, so
Okay.
You're gonna learn today.
I'm gonna get to the top if I can. And then once you get a taste of the top, it's like, oh my God, I can't stop.
You can't go back.
It's like, I'm watching the numbers on the recognition, like, okay, so we got this. Okay, next month I need to do this many parties. This much now I need to do this many sales. Like, I wanted to be at the top. And it's like that friendly back and forth competition. But I enjoy the fact that I get to share what I love. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
By day I'm a nurse, but in helping people in that sense.
What they call you as a nurse?
Nurse swap. But why though? Why?
Why they call you
Because
nurse swap?
whop or not, you need a drop, right?
Oh,
Because
that's
you gotta
the
have that
lube
lube.
plug.
You gotta have that lube. You gotta have the lube.
Wow, but now we know how she's selling. She just sold me and I already used the damn lube.
I'm telling you, get that slip and slide glide going on. But no, for real, like I just try to express to them how these products make you feel, what they do to you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? My boss will call me and she's like, how are you always so happy at work? I masturbate a lot.
Now, Candy, you had Candy Coated Nights.
Yes.
And I said the same thing. It's like, how you and I said, listen, I come a lot.
Telling
True
you.
People
that.
take for granted that one thing. And I don't think people realize, think about it, y'all. When you see somebody with a bad attitude, what's the first thing you think?
She needs some.
Oh, she needs some big.
Yeah, you need a little something, right? So if you already associating people's persona and their demeanor with whether they got some, we is out here keeping people happy.
We are definitely keeping people happy. For sure.
A little bit about why you would characterize yourself that way, or if not, how do you characterize yourself out of it? Because even though you've been you're submissive to Sir Marvelous, like you said, that wasn't the beginning.
Right. Right. It wasn't the beginning. So I absolutely identify as a switch. That is 100% where I'm at. I didn't know that before. I knew I was in positions where I was the one who was responsible for many things. I was leading a lot of things. I was that resource to a lot of people. But it was like you said before, you would be good at this. We want you here. You can do this for us. You can go there. So it was more of my talents being used by other people,
Right.
to do what they wanted to get accomplished because I'm capable. But in the time that I've been with Sir Marvelous and I have been exploring all the different things that I've come across with him, as well as my own exploration on the side that I do separately for myself, because, he has a very particular style and it's, it's more pleasure centered, which is perfect for this, so and trust me, like it's incredible. But I started finding myself yearning to top differently. And I wanted to do more things that were kind of out of the wheelhouse of what we were practicing.
Okay.
And it dawned on me, I want so badly to be in that role. I didn't feel confident that I had earned the right to be in the role. That kind of was where I was at.
I'm going to just pause right there. First of all, the word confidence comes up a lot in these conversations.
Yes.
I have found in every conversation that I have had, I've never been able to have it without that word. And personally, and I'm sure you can relate because you come in encounter with a lot of these people in spaces and events, there are women who see our confidence.
Yes.
And they crave it because they may not feel like that's what they have. And I wish I could be as confident as you. If only I could be that. If I had a dose of it, or, and it was both like, thank you, but it was heartbreaking at the same time.
Because I don't know what advice to give you at this moment.
Right. And so, and then I think the alarming number of people that were saying that to me had me realize that there were far more who felt that way than how many I came across who showed up confidently. And it really made me do some digging and really kind of figure out, why are you this confident? Because at first I'm like, oh, I've always been a little that way.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know. I went to military school. So there's always been a bit of a drill instructor in me. I'm definitely a drill instructor. And actually I was the highest ranking NCO at my school before I graduated and went on. So I was tasked with that responsibility of that. And I learned a lot about leadership, decision making, judgment, principles, and ethics. Doing things a certain way. Yes. And I had my commandant said to me one time, you never want to do or discipline, right? Because we would have companies and platoons. You never want to discipline, your platoon with something that you wouldn't do yourself. Because whatever you tell them to do, I'm going to have you do twice of. And I hated the thought of that. But now I have a different appreciation for that advice, because I realized that I had to explore the same things that I wanted to do to others in order for me to, be more effective in understanding how that might go, but also in considering what things might be comfortable, what might not be. So going into that, I want to ask you and talk to you about okay, I realized there's this other thing that I want to tap into a little bit more. Me, I'm definitely a goddess side of the big letter dominant.
Worshipped.
Yes, I am. Worship me. I mean, how many? First of all, ladies, wouldn't you love to be worshipped? Oh, right. So it's like you can. I only respond to enchantress or goddess. Anything else will simply be ignored. Right. And I didn't know how much of a worship whore I was, how much of a praise whore I was. I was just like, I just would get this feel I can't even, I'm feeling it now. I just naturally feel warm, appreciated, things like that, but mostly seen.
Yes.
Do you feel prior to entering the lifestyle, you felt as seen?
Absolutely
by partners?
Not. Absolutely not. I felt pleasure. I don't feel like I was fully seen, mostly because I have a lot of masculine energy, and a lot of times was coming across the issue of being too masculine for my partner's, opinion or taste for a long period of time, because I like things done a certain way. And if there's anything that I've learned all these years is that if I can do something and get it done the way that I want it done, I'm going to do that. I'm not going to rely on other people to do it. So, when you show people that you're capable of doing things by yourself, it can create a little bit of animosity, a little insecurity.
Yeah, especially if they themselves don't have the confidence or feel capable.
Exactly. So I was finding that because I wasn't confident in how I was carrying myself, I just existed and was just hitting these walls, that I wasn't getting the level of respect that I probably should have, or the level of understanding that I should have from those partners, because they didn't know what to do with me. They've been taught the same things that I had been taught, men do this, women are supposed to do that. But also I had a completely different life experience where there wasn't a man doing those things for me. So I had to do them. So it's very difficult to reconcile once you're in a relationship. Like, okay, I'm gonna let you be a man and I'm gonna be a woman, and I'm just gonna sit here and do women things. When it's like, but wait, no, but this is my couch and these are my dishes, and I don't like my kitchen like this after a certain time. And, we got to do other things because this is how I like it and this is my space. When I was going through these different levels of our dynamic as we started to just, get deeper into each other. He called things out to me that I at first denied. He would be like, "You want to be worshipped?" I was like, "No, that's not what it is. That's not what it is. No, it's not that. I'm just, and I would push it away because I was told by society, by everybody in general, you're not supposed to, how dare you want that? I don't look like these Instagram models. I'm not like these OnlyFans like models. Like, how can I command such things? But I finally got to the point where I stopped saying, no, I'm not like that, and started listening to what he was saying and really playing it back. Like, you know what?
I kind of like how that sounds.
You absolutely correct, because if we could worship me right now, this would be great. And we wouldn't have no sorts of problems. But it took someone else kind of saying, that's what you really want. And kind of grappling with it, because I was trying to get rid of that stuff that had been pushed down my throat by the media, by, culture, relatives, and just society all around the board. Like everybody at work, this is what you're expected to be like and how you're supposed to be. But I'm not.
And it's like power they'll give you in a lot of those places, power to a degree, right? Like they want to give you a leadership role, but then they want to tell you how to do it and how to, Interesting about when we have these kind of conversations. I talk to so many women on a regular basis who are very much so pro men having this space.
Yes.
So what troubles me is when I still hear that there's this alarming rate of unsafety, like unsafe feelings or whatever the case is, or lack of safety for them, when I don't really know women who don't want them to be safe.
Right.
So I'm also kind of wondering what is perpetuating that problem. You know what I'm saying?
I have some theory.
Do you now?
Yeah. Because my thing is, people say that they're a safe space, but they're not. And so it's like, I want you to talk to me about it. But then the minute someone actually expresses their feelings, then it's like, whoa. What's all these feelings about? What's all this? Now you're not a man because you have, whoa. You can't ask for the thing. And then when you get the thing, be like, no, this is not the type of man. No. That's not how this works. And so there's a lot, and you see it in a lot of the discourses that happen, where if people are paying attention, anytime a man in public expresses emotions and feelings, it becomes this negative thing versus like, damn, that's just got to be hard to hold.
Right.
The only space I see where it doesn't necessarily become, there's like a Ryan Clark's thing where they'll have some emotional moments and then it's okay. But other than that, and honestly, it's men and women whenever we express emotions in a loud way where it's just like, oh, you can't have emotions. Feelings are bad. I'm sorry. Feelings are part of the human experience.
And they're complex and it's a range. And with age, I think they get more complex.
The second puberty is no joke.
But you said something that was really, I think, and I love to surface great things because sometimes y'all need to hear it again. People are under this delusion that they're safe.
Yep.
And I think that was a really good point to make, because I think we've all probably experienced that even in relationships, you have partners and things like that who think that they're providing you this love and nurturing, whatever the case is. And the question is, are they providing what they think they're actually providing? Are they loving you in the ways that you need?
No. Not at all, because they don't know how to provide that for themselves. Like, the saying, like, hurt people. It is not so cliche. It is really, it's a metaphor, but it means really like, how are you able to express with yourself what you're going through? Are you your own safe space? Are you able to sit down with yourself and correlate the words that match how you're feeling or the moments that you're sharing when you're like having difficulty being happy, when you're depressed, when you may have some type of otherness or illness or whatever category that makes you feel anything other than what you are at your core, right? And when we don't have that space within ourselves to even be so authentic and genuine within ourselves, we hurt everybody around us that we try to say, like,
yeah, you could come sit on the couch and come talk to me, right? But I'm not even talking to me, right? So like you cannot even do that, right?
I don't know if you heard that one. Are you even talking to you? But
are you even talking to you? And I mean in the healthiest way possible.
No, but
right?
yeah, it's a good point because there's a lot of people. You know, they say, and I don't know if you guys can relate to this because I know I used to be this way. I absolutely used to be the voice of reason for everyone around me. I could always be that sound person for them to come to.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. But the problem was I could help other people navigate their things better than I can help myself navigate some of my own, because you know how that goes.
Maybe that's easier. It's always
easier when you're on the outside looking in.
Why me?
But look at how you identified that though.
Yeah.
You know how hard it is to identify that?
It is.
Yeah.
That you were this mechanism or this crutch or this coping place for others, but you were not allowing yourself the agency to be that for yourself.
For yourself.
So what happens there? You become upset or you become like buried under people's emotions and then resentful, and then you're taking it out on others who thought they could be the safe space, right?
Yeah. Because I you know, we say it plenty of times. We say, oh, nobody cares and nobody this and nobody that. And sometimes what you just said, that awareness is what leads to the intelligence, right? But also on top of it, it's like there comes a day where you could fool everybody and anything around you. But when you get by yourself and it's just you
There it is.
and those thoughts and those feelings in this space by yourself, you cannot run from what you feel in that moment. And that's why most people cry by themselves and X, Y, and Z, because the truest feelings and reflections come to the surface, not what you're presenting. And I think that's something that a lot of men also could stand to learn, because I think the other part of the conversation is you have to aid in your own rescue. And I do find that a lot of times in these conversations, when I have them with men, they have had an experience where they didn't feel safe and they allowed that to close them off for believing any other place could be safe. As opposed to taking time to be accountable, right? I have to be accountable on my own heartache. And that sounds crazy to some people. Even if someone else did something to me,
Your healing is your own personal responsibility.
I have to be and it was some part of me, right? That chose this person or that chose that situation. And my accountability is no, I didn't ask for what happened, but I did choose this person. And whatever about me I need to work on so I can make better choices about the people that I bring into my space, so I could decrease the likelihood of those things happening. And I think a lot of men could stand to do that to improve their mental health. It's not that you can see we here. We right here. We want you guys to feel safe. We want you guys to feel supported and loved. But do make sure that if you have experienced, like what Quita said, a person who isn't safe, who thinks they're safe, that you take time to make better decisions about the people you invite into that closeness for you. But that was really, y'all better take that advice to the bank.
What is your protocol, or what are your rituals that you go into, Kandi, when you're trying to get centered and refocus and figuring out what you want to take down or what you want to chart your path towards? How do you, because you got a lot. So how do you separate all the noise long enough for you to be like,
well, I mean, and I always want to start everything out with, I do not have it all figured out. I'm constantly a work in progress and figuring things out, just like everybody else. Because I think that a lot of people look at me and think, oh, she figured it all together. And it's like, no. I'm constantly, reworking the plan and figuring things out. So this year, I agreed with you. So for so long, people always be like, oh, Kandi has so many different things, But I said I wanted to narrow my focus in this coming year.
okay,
So go through all the things and see okay, what do I just put effort into just because but it's not really
the thing you're most passionate about?
I'm not most passionate about. It's not financially really doing anything for me. It may not be hurting me, but it may not really
be growing.
You know what I mean? So I started looking at, all the things that I was doing, and I said, okay, I'm going to narrow my focus, meaning remove some of these things off of my plate. And remember that I want to have physical body health focus.
Yes.
Right. So, I decided for years I put off the hysterectomy thing. I went ahead and did it at the end of November. So that's why I was kind of sitting down in December.
Chilling out.
I didn't really post a lot. I didn't have a lot, happening.
Which is okay.
Because
you're always giving some, so yeah.
I think a lot of people are used to me doing a lot. So I had, and I actually passed up a couple good jobs and a couple, things because, I was like, I keep putting it off for the sake of, somebody was going to pay me to do this. So I got to, So I said, nope. Good. Regroup, refocus.
I like that.
So I had lost the weight first. Then I did that. Now I got all my doctor's appointments set, mammogram.
I'm trying to get like you, Kandi.
No, because when we get so crazy and hectic, we start putting those things off.
The appointments,
and before you know it, it's be like you should have did something.
I literally know exactly what you mean when you say that because I felt like I got forced. I guess sometimes your body is going to be like, so you don't want to give me no attention? Right. Let me do this to you. I was like, what's that? That one hurting a couple weeks ago. And then suddenly, so I agree with you on that one.
Right. So I'm working on that. Started overall looking at different businesses that I had, figure out which ones I'm going to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to put my focus in these things and go from there. And the things that I do have to go back and say, okay, stop taking them for granted and put more energy and life into that. You get what I'm saying?
I 100% do.
So, for me, it was the regroup, you know what I mean? And not, sometimes, things regroup you, like you said.
Right. Yeah, right.
And I didn't want anything to regroup me. I wanted to start really kind of planning out. I said this year I was going to start doing better about planning ahead of time. So now I started putting things on my schedule ahead of time that I want to do so I will make time for those things.
Right.
I planned my vacations already all the way up through June. No, up to June. I did 6 months.
Okay.
Because I'm one of those people who, if it ain't planned, it ain't getting done. So sometimes I go long periods of time and I really don't take time for myself.
Right.
Last year, after, leaving the show and stuff, I did take a few more vacations and time for myself, doing more things for family and friends. Good. But I said, okay, I'm going to do more of that this year because I enjoyed it.
And kind of get more of it going. I like that because especially when you're in work that sometimes take you on the road or moving around, people see you always traveling. So they assume
not a vacation.
It's not. And it's not. You ain't getting no good sleep. You ain't getting no good rest. You like, okay, I got to do this, turn around, be back at the airport.
Yeah. And that's what I be doing. So not that I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
I still got to work. I still got to do those things. But I want to make sure that I plan those times to relax and re-energize.
Right. And not let it be movable.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right.
That's important.
Now, Dr. Tamara, we're all about intimacy over here. But I do want to say this. We have to redefine the word pleasure this year on the business of pleasure, guys. Because I think every time people hear that, and even with Bedroom Kandi, they think about just the adult side of it. And they don't realize that the majority of what we offer is not even adult. We actually have probably 200 on a self-care, bath, body, cosmetics, and then maybe like 50 pleasure products. And everyone's always hearing the word pleasure. And they automatically associate to sexuality, intimacy, something like that. When I just define pleasure as whatever makes me feel good, or the pleasure principle, whatever makes me avoid pain, right? So I want to kind of help people understand how to define their pleasure, but not just focus on the intimate side, but from a more wide scale. And I don't think you can really do that without thinking about your senses and how you respond to certain things. For example, how do you know when you're feeling overwhelmed? What are your indicators? What are your signs? So I would really love if you can help shed a little light on how people could get better awareness of even what they're going through or experiencing so that they can get focused or centered or whatever they need to do.
You know, I think part of the challenge is that we spend most of our time either in the past or the future. We're not present focused. And when we're not present focused, we're missing some of those subtle cues that we need to be focusing on or paying attention to help us say, you know what, we need to take that time to rest. Because what happens to our bodies when we don't take that time that we need to take, it continues to grow and fester and becomes more disease and dis-ease in our body. Now we are at the space where we need a hysterectomy. Are we not at the space where we need some type of a surgery or we need all this time off work because we missed those subtle cues because we weren't present in our body. And so we have to start being more intentional about being present, saying no with audacity and unapologetically. Confidently. You know what? Because as Black women, right, we don't say no a lot of times to people. And that is part of our downfall because we try to be superwoman. And then as a result, we end up with all of this illness that we have because we couldn't say no. And now we're pouring from 10%. And now we don't have nothing left to give ourselves or our families. And so, we got to, take that time you need to take those vacations, but make that money though, too. Though.
She going to have me in the mirror practicing 10 ways to tell people, no. Looked into it, found out.
And with a smile, no.
My mom gave me a book that had a whole chapter about the art of saying no. Because she felt like I'm always
kind of making conform,
trying to
make it work.
Be yes to people close to me, you know what I mean, around me. I'm always trying to do everything for everybody. So she was like, you need. And it was very I felt like it was helpful.
It was insightful. I'm always honest, and I know that has not always been my easiest, especially when the no overlaps with an area that you do care about. But it may not be the priority.
But listen, just because you say no, it doesn't mean you don't care. It just means it means
not
no. Not right now.
Not right now.
Not right now. No.
See, I'm telling you about 20 ways to tell y'all no.
The gift that I learned from the book. So it was something that was said was, you know, as it pertains to like when people always ask you to be somewhere, ask you to do something. So it said, always say no when they first ask you to do it. Always say no. Because see, sometimes what we do is we say yes because we don't want to let the person down. But when it gets closer to the whatever it is, we start feeling anxious because either, you know, maybe we don't really want to do it or something else came up. And then they're like, if you cancel on that person, that's worse.
Right.
So the better thing to do is to say no up front. And then when it gets closer to the time, if you feel up to doing it, you can always call them back and say, hey, did you still need me to do X, Y, and Z?
I can see that.
I like that reverse.
I was like, you know, that's a good one.
If you start with the no,
right?
You be,
I mean, now if it's work or something like that, you know,
you got to consider,
time. But I mean, realistically, half the things that we say yes to is not anything that we had to do, but we get stuck doing it
out of obligation,
and guilt,
out of
obligation.